Hello friends, if you're new, welcome. Why don't you go down and ring the bell and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. I thank my fans and subscribers for coming back. Today I'm going to be talking about Jehovah's Witnesses and the 1975 aftermath. And boy, was it big. Not much else I need to say. Let's get on with the video. The problems of the failure of prophecy was organizational regimentation, doctrinal vacillation, and small numbers of witnesses revolting, and some of them just outright left. Good for them. This is a cult and they don't need that. It wasn't until 1979 that the Jehovah's Witnesses began to grow again. By 1980, their growth rate was 3.7% worldwide. However, the religion isn't as robust as they want people to believe. Their growth is nothing to brag about, especially considering the time and effort they spend trying to convert. They have serious internal problems like child abuse that the leadership refuses to address. As a result, the religion now faces bans, inquiries, and huge payouts to survivors. They also continue to experience high turnover rates in membership. After years of discouraging higher education, the best educated and most intelligent people have moved on, leaving a pool of uneducated people to fill the highest levels of leadership, and they also have an inability to lead. The governing body's arrogance will end up toppling the organization. The scandals are just speeding up the process. The leaders want to maintain control at all costs, insisting on total obedience to any rules they make. I kid you not, they said we must be ready to obey the faithful and discreet slave, whether it makes sense from a human standpoint or not. The sheer arrogance of these men is astounding. In 1981, they went so far as to demand that all ties, including family ties, with those disfellowshipped or disassociated, be severed. Instead of strengthening the faith of witnesses, this tended to weaken it. Dissension within Watchtower, as well as the governing body's increasing ferocity against so-called apostates, continues to contribute to the siege mentality of faithful Jehovah's Witnesses. In the spring of 1980, there was a purge at World Headquarters called Bethel, in which over 50 workers or Bethelites were dismissed. After this, thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses have openly left the organization, at times to form independent Bible study groups. Watchtower really doesn't want people to know how bad off they are right now. Although I did hear that last service here they had over 300,000 baptisms. That's the first time in over 20 years. Watchtower is very clever in the way they report statistics. Keep in mind that you can pretty much manipulate statistics to show anything you want. For the year of September 1982 to August of 1983, Watchtower reported a worldwide increase of 6.8%. That sounds impressive. That is, it sounds impressive until you figure out what they are not telling you, what they will never tell you, is that for that same year, they experienced a decrease of 8% in the U.S. alone. Two things have forged the Jehovah's Witness community throughout the years. First and foremost is their apocalypticism. Running a close second is their conflict with what they call, quote-unquote, Satan's world and the world empire of false religion they refer to as Babylon the Great. Russell did not initially show disdain for other churches. In fact, his earlier works borrowed from their teachings. However, he gradually became more and more critical of other religions, which he regarded as Babylon the Great, in keeping with the Adventist movement. Thus, animosity toward other religions started almost at the very beginning of the Bible student movement, although those who succeeded Russell were far worse. After Rutherford and the other Watchtower directors were released from prison in 1919, they embarked on a brutal campaign condemning what they saw as false religion. Commerce, politics, and religion were recast as the devil's finest tools, but you guessed it, religion took the hardest hit. Rutherford saved his most caustic comments for the clergy. The period between the world wars brought bitter persecution for the witnesses. In 1932, they abandoned Russell's teaching that the Jews had a special place in history and began teaching that only Jehovah's Witnesses were God's chosen people. During this time, they refused to classify themselves as a religion, staging parades in which JWs held signs saying, "Religion is a snare and a racket." Personally, I prefer religion is the opiate of the masses. Anyway, funny how evangelicals also deny that they are a religion. It's a relationship with Jesus, they say. And no, I am not an anti-theist. I just have a problem when people use religion for personal gain or when they try to force their beliefs on others. They have softened their language toward the public since World War II, probably because they know that the public won't stand for it. But behind closed doors, JWs are more caustic than ever. Penton points out that, in all fairness, the clergy attacked Russell too, in the interest of honesty, so well on. It is true that people regarded Russell, Rutherford, and the Bible students as unpatriotic because they openly opposed the war and because they refused to serve in the military. But Watchtower literature was banned in Canada as a direct result of their representation of the clergy to the Canadian government. Apparently inspired by this, the U.S. government prosecuted Rutherford and the Watchtower directors, encouraged by Protestant and Catholic clergy. Persecution of Jehovah's Witnesses became evident between the world wars. Quebec officials had JWs arrested mainly at the request of the Catholic clergy. Most of the time they were charged with peddling without a license, but occasionally officials charged them with libel and sedition. In the U.S., clergymen frequently stirred up violence against the witnesses. Father Coughlin incited an attack against a convention in New York City in 1938. A bit before that, a Catholic boycott forced Gimbel Brothers department store to stop sponsoring Rutherford's radio broadcasts. In the Weimar Republic in Germany, Bible students grew faster than other parts of the world, but they did so under much opposition. In 1933, the JWs were among the first groups to be suppressed in Germany, for mostly political reasons, if you get my drift. They fared no better in Western democracies in World War II either. While the fact that they refused to support war efforts played a major role in this, so did religious persecution. In July 1940, Canada totally banned them because they refused to salute the flag, sing the national anthem, or hail political leaders. This resulted in arrests, fines, and imprisonments. Although other Christian groups' persecution of the witnesses has lessened over time, this is not the case among non-Christians. Most Muslim countries have banned them, and some Jewish groups in Israel and New York have been openly hostile toward witness attempts to proselytize. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. If you wish to get in contact with me, best way is through Twitter, followed by email. Also, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but it triggers the YouTube algorithm. If you have any requests, you may leave those in the comment section as well. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, goodbye.